Hello, great people. I want to speak about Aisha Yesufu's comment in the video circulating the rounds on social media, precisely an interview with Seun Okinbaloye on a radio station where she remarked that Nigeria has no president. It is important you watch this video because Aisha Yesufu made some mistake in that particular video, a mistake that can cost her dearly, a mistake that can land her in DSS custody and even perhaps, in the correctional facility, where I pray that not happens because Aisha Yesufu is somebody that is contributing meaningfully to the society in the two senses of the word. And I'll tell you the reason why later. But there are some lessons that I want you to learn. And I want to correct some certain things because you might not be lucky as Aisha Yesufu. So you can take this video as an educative video. But first, let us watch the video of Aisha Yesufu. Let's watch it.
Either you voted or you did not vote. We have a president, isn't it?
No, we don't.
We do have a president.
No, you have a president. I don't have a president.
What do you mean? You are a citizen of Nigeria and you reside here.
I'm a citizen of Nigeria. I reside here, but we have an illegitimate president, someone who rigged his way into office. It's like if there's a military coup, are you going to sit down and accept that, oh, you have a president because someone, there was a military coup?
But
this is a political coup.
You cannot say that because you do not have evidence.
Aisha Yesufu can and have said that Nigeria does not have a president. What we have is someone who rigged his way into office, who is illegitimately occupying
the court
his
does
office.
Not agree with your position.
The court that has been captured can do whatever it wants to do, and that's why there's no respect for it. And that's why you have governors, coming out to thank a Tinubu when the judgment goes their way. So the fact that we have a captured judiciary and whatever, Aisha Yesufu, and I say it without mincing words, I don't put water for my mouth, there's no precedent in Nigeria.
There's a President Bola Tinubu, factually.
The former governor of Lagos State, Bola Tinubu, yes, is illegitimately occupying an office he shouldn't. And I've said it. You have your opinion, should I have my own? So why does he have to?
No, there is a fact. There's a fact. There is an opinion.
No, then go ahead with your own fact. This is mine. This is my reality, and I'm telling you, Nigeria does not have.
Why is it difficult for you to accept that?
Why should I accept
in the next 4 years?
It's no. Hold on, Seun. Someone comes to my house, steals my car, take it away, repaints it, and you're telling me that I have to accept it because it's been repainted and you have gotten papers for it.
You cannot prove that.
The proven or not the proven, that's not the point. This is what I'm saying to you, Seun. This is Aisha telling you that Nigeria does not have a president. If you, Seun, believes that Nigeria has a president, go ahead. Who is stopping you?
There you have it. First, let me say something that I'm not a fan of Tinubu. Sincerely, I'm not a fan. Like I usually say in my analysis, whether I'm live or my recording, I don't like him and I don't hate him. Just like I don't like Peter Obi, I don't hate Peter Obi. I don't like Atiku, I don't hate Atiku. So I'm not making this video because I'm a big fan of Tinubu. No. If anybody was the president, I would have said the same thing that I'm saying now. So the thing is, you cannot say that in a country there is no president. You cannot, because there must not be power vacuum in a country. There is a president and there will always be a president. So you can't say, oh, there's no power vacuum, there's no president. That's not correct. And if you say that, you are creating problem for yourself. We need to realize that politics is about tolerance of opposing ideas and persons. Things will not always go your way. So if there's an election and it doesn't go your way, you need to learn how to kind of like accept it and plan towards the next election, especially if you have explored all avenue of expressing your grievance. And that is through the law court in a constitutional democracy. So if the court has ruled, rightly or wrongly, and I'm still coming to make some strong remark about the judiciary, rightly or wrongly, okay, even if power was, snatched and run away with it, the way the president said that power is not served that like you grab it, snatch it, and run away with it. Even if that is what happens, if the court have said that, well, this is the president, unfortunately, it is what it is. And that's why I've said that Nigeria is not really practicing a democracy, but a judicracy, a judicratic system of government. But then, it is what it is when the court says that is what it is. So you need to be very careful after all the pronouncements have been made and to say there's no precedent. What Aisha Yesufu could have said, what could have made the presidency to be jittery, I will say it in the later part of this video. Like I said, it's an educative video. We are not condemning ourselves. We are just learning from ourselves. But we need to know that you can't lord your wish on other Nigerians. You may think Bola Tinubu is not a president. But then, have you thought about those who voted and believe they have a president? Those who voted for Bola Tinubu, you are not more Nigerian than them. They voted for him, and he is their president. Okay, and democracy is a game of numbers, rightly or wrongly. If the number favors him, of course, he is the president. Okay, so, and one thing that we need to notice is that it is wrong for you to say the court has been captured, because you know why? When you want to condemn, we know that there is corruption everywhere and the judiciary cannot be excluded. But then, you know that even when you are caught or when they arrest you and they want to prosecute you, they won't take you to an engineer. They won't take you to a tailor. And there are still some good judges. So it is still the same judiciary that they will take you to. So if they arrest you, it is still the same judiciary that can release you. So in that instance, you want to be very careful not to kind of like, ridicule the same judiciary that has the power to either detain you perpetually or to give you freedom. So when you say the court has been captured, if you criticize a politician and you wrap the judiciary to it, that politician can lash on that to be able to make sure that you are punished perpetually. Imagine now, if the government of Tinubu decide to arrest Aisha Yesufu and they tender that video in court, the judiciary that would, yes, they will try you in court. The judiciary that is supposed to hear your case is hearing the way you are abusing his own constituency. And the judge will now face and say, you said the judiciary has been captured. What is your evidence? Can you show me empirical evidence that the judiciary has truly been captured? Not then say who say, then say who say, you say. No. Hard fact. Do you have an instance whereby, do you have a recording? Do you have hard fact where a judge was being bribed for you to come to the assertion? Then, if you say some people in the judiciary is different from the judiciary, this is pure English language. Some people in the judiciary is different from the judiciary. If you say some people in the judiciary, it means that there are bad eggs in the judiciary, which is true. But if you say the judiciary, that means that everything that has to do with judiciary has been captured. And that itself will be difficult for you to prove. And it can give you a kind of tough time than expected. So that means that the state is against you. They will use their institutions against you. The judiciary that can also save you will also be against you. So I think if we want to make some statement, we should be very careful. And that's why I was, prompted to make this video, that if Aisha Yesufu is lucky, if they are looking at her because maybe she's a woman, or maybe the public rating of the government is already on the low, and you want to copy Aisha Yesufu, you may not be as lucky as her. So if you go outside and say there's no president or something, you may find yourself in problem. For instance, Showore has always been protesting. They won't arrest Showore. If they arrest him, they will release him. If you want to go and copy Showore and you don't protest with sense, you may kind of like languish in prison. I read it in the papers yesterday that the DSS released 2 end bad governance protesters in Kaduna or Katsina. So that means that those people have been in detention since. Imagine that. But the real organizers of the protesters are working free. So be careful before you emulate Aisha Yesufu. Although I believe that we need people like Aisha Yesufu, because the way this government is behaving, imagine we don't have any voice of reasoning. We don't have Aisha Yesufu. We don't have Omoyede Showore. We don't have Deji Adeyanju. We don't have Very Dark Man. The country will be finished too. Because these people are doing a great job. And it is very difficult for you to have the courage to speak in a government like this. A government that will not listen, and a government that is that have shown signs that you want to kind of like that have shown signs that they are ready to go all out against their real and imaginary enemies. So there are ways you can criticize the president based on his policies. If you say Tinubu is not my president because he has failed to deliver the renewed hope as promised, that's a strong point. Rather than saying that, oh, Tinubu is not my president, and you are referring to the election that has already been decided at the appeal court, which is the court of first instance for presidential election, and at the Supreme Court. No, you cannot spite a sitting president by referring to his past title that, oh, Bola Tinubu, former governor of Lagos State. No, rightly or wrongly, Bola Tinubu is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So you cannot say, oh, Bola Tinubu, former governor of Lagos State. No, you cannot address people by their past title, especially when you disagree with them. It's like, as an academic, it's like calling a professor doctor. A professor is a doctor. For you to be a professor, you must have had a PhD. But then, you are a professor, not a doctor. So you are to be addressed as professor and not to be addressed as doctor. Even though everybody knows that you are a professor, you are also a doctor. For in this instance, Tinubu is president. He's also the former governor of Lagos State. But his first title, like the office he occupies now, his highest rank is the president. So you cannot leave that title of president and not be referring to him as former governor of Lagos State, a position he left in 2007. Sincerely, I don't think that is too correct. So be careful if you want to refer to the president as Lagos State governor. Like I said, you may not be lucky like Aisha Yesufu, but I think Aisha Yesufu should have criticized the president in terms of his performance. Why? The Supreme Court has not ruled on his performance. Do you know that? The Supreme Court has not ruled on his performance. So if you are criticizing him based on his performance, nobody can. And the evidence speaks for itself. But the Supreme Court has ruled on the election. And you are making statements doubting the legitimacy of the man. No. What Aisha Yesufu could have done is criticize the president based on his policies. We are buying fuel, so this amount we are buying it now. Before you came in, this is inflation. This is what inflation is. And that's what somebody like Segun Okinbaloye usually do. He's going to hit them hard. So on the basis of his performance, or on the basis of his high-handedness, or impunity, or human rights abuse, or disobedience to court order, if you now say, oh, on this basis, he's not my president because he has fall short of the characteristics of a true president, which is to bring succor and to have empathy on his people. Wow, strong point, Aisha. Strong point. Like I said, you are doing a great job. I like what you are doing. Sincerely, I truly like it. I like your participation in politics. I like your courage, right? But then you need to kind of like refine or fine-tune the way you come about with some of these things. For instance, the national anthem that was sung, I'll put the video at the end of it that you decide not to stand up. Instead of that, can you challenge the process that produced it in court? Because you can only get away with that because the president is not seated. Let's be sincere with ourselves. If Tinubu is seated in that gathering and they are reading the national anthem and the president is there standing up and you fail to stand up, it can come with some consequence. But the president is not there, the vice president is not there, the senate president is not there. Even if these people are occupying power illegitimately, there's nothing we can do at this moment than 2027. And we now begin to plan and strategize, or even before then, and you begin to educate people that get your PVC. You begin to point out the ills of government. But if you say it's not your president, people can easily say, oh, she's bittered because, oh, Obi lost the election. But that may not even be the case. You may just be a concerned Nigerian that doesn't like to be cheated. So for me, rightly or wrongly, Nigeria has a president. The seat of power must never be vacant. Even in the president's absence, there is a Shetima. Even if he dies, there can never be power vacuum in a country. If there's power vacuum, it is a recipe for anarchy. It is a recipe for problem. And I can tell you for a fact that this government perhaps is not thinking of charging Aisha Yesufu for treason, because the word treason has been abused before now, and that's why I've said it in my past live and my past videos, that it's not good for government to abuse something, or it's not good for government to pick something from the peak in terms of punishment, because the day you truly need that, high level of punishment, you would have watered down that particular punishment. Because if you pick protesters, innocent protesters that are hungry, and you charge them for treason, if you pick Aisha Yesufu now for treason, it won't amount to anything. People will think, oh, it's your usual way, you just want to witch hunt her. If government has not abused the word treason, if they pick Aisha Yesufu for treason, people may not have even sympathized with her, because treason is not a charge that you just come up with anyhow, because she's disputing the legitimacy of the government. So I think this is just an advice, and I think if the public rating of the government at this point in time is very high, the government would perhaps have come very hard for Aisha Yesufu. So this is just an educative video. Aisha, you are doing a great job. Keep up the good work, but then try and refine the way you come about some of these things, okay? It's been an interesting time with all of you on this episode of Politing with Dr. Omoshola Dejide. He's a political scientist with a PhD in political science, and this is where we discuss politics and happenings in the polity. Do well to subscribe if you are yet to. Turn on the notification. I'm not always far from you, and of course, I love you all sincerely.